Muy buenas noches, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. As always, muchas gracias to everyone for everyone's words, wishes, prayers, as the love and support everyone sends and shares with me. From the heart, muchas gracias. Also, do please like, share, and subscribe, and hype the video to help the message get out. Thank you. Well, everyone, getting into what I want to touch on today. Today's definitely different, right? Than telling my walk, my my story, or my personal run-ins. Today, I want to share with everybody how dumb I was at one point. You know, again, I love what I stood for, and I never looked sideways, backwards, forward. It was always stood on what needed to be done for us, right? Or whatever was requested to be done. But I want to share with you guys the first day that I actually took into notice that I was free. I know I did 23 years, 11 months straight, 14 something in the shoe. And, I believe it was more difficult for me to take my freedom right away because, I took two people's lives. And I'm not proud of it, nor am I glorifying on it, right? But I was sentenced to do a double life sentence. I was never supposed to get out, especially in my time. I was validated, right? So my goal was to never get out the shoe, never get out of prison, which, through the grace of God, you guys know a lawyer seen a technicality on a case. I got pulled out to court and took me back to county, and I got resentenced, which would lead to my freedom, right? But after serving, you could say my time in the state, the feds tried to okey doke me on something that was going on, right? That's what they shot me to the feds, and that's what it boiled down to. Something was they were working on something. They took me on false accusations. Even though should never hit the feds, because again, I'm born in Cali, right? But anyways, I would eventually get out, and I didn't enjoy me getting out. The only thought in my head was, gotta put myself in Mexico in this position, right? And remember grabbing a burger real quick, eating like half of it, and getting across that border, right? My warning was getting across. They're gonna ask me for something. They're gonna know I just got out. Am I gonna get validated right away? All them things you gotta take into consideration. But once I hit over, it was go, go, go. There was no breathing room. There was moments here and there where noticed a lot of different nice things, right? Like food wise. Sometimes we would go out to a ranch, and the view was oh my God, one of them views that you definitely lock your mind around. But still, my mind was always on the task at hand that we've been directed. Here in Mexico, it was stay in the task on the outside, be in this position to a lot of different things, and hitting jails, and never stop. I remember, well, you could say I had a few of them in Mexico too, about seven of them, and it was another like 4 years wasted, you could say, doing time out here, and which, at the moment I had that mentality, this is what I do, this is what, that dumb mentality we always tell ourselves, I used to tell myself I'm better off in prison because I know how to get around. It don't matter what system, right? But we had it bad in Mexico. But again, this ain't what this video is about. Eventually we'll go out to Oaxaca and then I will get shot, and you guys know it was six of them, and they really put me on my butt. But even then, my mind was go, go, go. It's like you gotta get up, fool. You gotta resume. I always been a believer. If something don't take you, it's because it wasn't meant to, and you need to continue on your path. So my goal was to get right back into the action, right? But I couldn't, mainly because where I've been shot at, it really disabled me to do so, right? At least right away. It then I became, you could say, Daryl's cuidador or take. Was watching his back, you could say, to a certain extent, right? With them up and down. And, well, I'll just say straight up, they didn't like it of me being somebody's back watchers. And that's when I got offered the opportunity to chill, to go up to the farm, or should we call it bodegas. They ain't in the same place no more. You guys know how that goes. After Daryl died, it's everything got flip flop. But anyways, at the moment where they were at, it's up a mountain, right? You had to cross literally two arroyos. You cross one, went uphill, and then you cross another one, and then you went uphill, like way up there. It was 4 acres, so it had three houses. One for the toys and candy, the other for the papiros, all the papiro that I was taking care of. Keep in mind, solo, you know, all my dogs, right? And well, this ain't the place again. I want to tell this, but anyways, you guys know there was a lot of snake being done, and I was defending it to the fullest because I thought it was a different angle trying to do it on us, right? When I say us, homies and billies, and it wasn't like that, it was a greedy billy trying to make something look to keep everything, right? Just being greedy. At the same time, thought I was doing the right thing because of my way I thought. I loaned someone I loved a lot, a niece that was struggling, and instead of paying the 3,500, they took her life. Till this day, we don't know where she's at. I guess Daryl took that to his grave, and the sad part is, I always had a good connection with the camaradas. I always been about camaradas are camaradas, and I respect my higher ups to the fullest, and but I was what I was. So I didn't really confuse myself, and there's different love there. If you guys get what I'm trying to say. And a homie called me from Ontario and told me everything. So at first I confronted D, and I wanted to see his reaction, and se paniqueó, and he lied like they do. Uh, that would never happen, Chino, and they just start telling me the value because of my family and the avenue, and his position was pretty much guaranteed there because of me, and all this BS. But a couple days later, when something happened, I had run-ins personally with the cat, and he was real close with Daryl, and I seen he was a homie, and again, it's the first time I ever hesitated, right? And I know it's God that went in my mind and told me, like, what you doing, fool? They're doing all this to you, and you're still trying to push through it. None of this is yours. You ain't making no fatty off of this, you know. So instead of doing what I was known to do, just kick dude in the grill and tell him to get on. I had hit him a few times, in the back, and I'm believing the leg or stomach, one of them. Anyways, two times. Told him to get up and get on, right? And I got upset. I had made up my mind, like, that's it with this. Always been loyal, always been there to the fullest. When something was wrong, I always pushed through it, regardless of my thoughts, my feelings. But to be honest, it wasn't even me going to war every night with people trying to get up in there, and it was our own people being sent on to pretend they're a different cartel to be a snake. And it was my knees. It really stung, and to show the caliber that they never gonna admit when they do something right. They're real quick to take a homie's career and for the pettiest stuff, but all they have to do is deny it and take your career. That's what ends up happening. Anyways, came down the ranch, went over the first arroyo. There was some older couple there. I left the keys as I usually did. Sometimes when something came up, right, everything was counted for. When I reached back to Culacan, I reported, and I told them everything was up there. They went up there, counted, everything was there, right? Because that's one thing I never been, and that's a crook. Regardless. And I always been one of them individuals that my thoughts always get the best of me, straight up. Because I dwell on it. I carry things. Like you do something to me, I'll carry you on my back, day in and night. And just thinking of 1,000 ways on how to go about things. They were never positive things, but anyways, I will carry you till I carried it out. It's part of my disease, you could say, right? And I was up there in Culiacan for about a week, you know, and well, not here where I'm at right now, but in one of the main houses of the family. So I was there, had my own room and stuff, and then I wasn't going to stop. I'm sincere, I wasn't going to stop. I was going to go out, and I wasn't going to make it a family business, nor was I going to have nobody do my work. It was our thing, but I was going to go out there and at least try to take care of what they needed to. Again, my step back from things was personal. It's personal, right? It has nothing to do with camaradas, not one bit. But it does have everything to do with these individuals, right? And I know a lot of people don't believe me when I say they come to the ranch, they still doing their thing. They still say Cuba, to an extent. And which I'm feeding me again, I'm not gonna stop what I helped build, knowing how many people fell in the way, right? But the first brain attack hit me. It hit the left side of my head, and no, excuse me, the right side of my head, my brain, right? And it put me on my butt. Literally, I couldn't move. My whole left side was lump. As I'm in bed, right? The second one hit me. I got two brain attacks back to back, and I was literally in bed. I couldn't lift my legs. I couldn't coordinate. They would tell me touch my nose, and I would go full air. My left side, as you guys see, is semi-paralyzed from it, and I try to push past that, but that happened in December. In April of the next year is when the first heart attack came through with thrombosis the first time. And you can imagine, right? Being all stunned already from brain attack and then heart attack, thrombosis. You know, it's when the lymphoma cancer came back, and I got to explain about Hodgkin's disease and how the second time around it's not noticeable, like in tumors and stuff, right? It starts attacking other areas in your body. For example, me, my head, my lungs, my liver, my heart. Again, that's why the doctors say they can't believe I'm alive, right? But again, I'm on God's time. Anyways, after that, I started going through attacking the lymphoma, and I started being able to at least sit on the bed, started coordinating. And I remember one night, I got up real early when the sun was just coming up. Here at the ranch, they had already made comfortable where I'm at right now, right? And you guys seen the porch. Came out and seen, and I swear to you guys, that was the first time I actually felt freedom. I was gassed by how everything looked, how the air felt, the peace. All I heard was birds. And as far as I can look, it was just nothing but nature. I remember being the first time I ever thought, damn, I'm really out. I look at this, a double life sentence I had. I was meant to die in the shoe, where all I had in front of me was a wall, and an occasion cue list, buenos dias, and this and that, shower time, yard time, whatever. And I took in that moment, It buckled me. I'm gonna be honest with everyone. It really did buckle me. Again, it was so beautiful. And it was, imagine, I get off from doing 2 years away. I'm out 30 days maybe. And then I catch the low double life sentence, serve 23 years, 11 months on it. Get to Mexico and then in and out. I go through that another 4 years. And it takes for me, or should I say it better? I'm a believer, right? It takes for God to put me on my butt and take everything from me physically to give me my freedom in mind and heart. That's exactly what I felt that day. How I accepted God in my heart's a whole different story, which I will later tell. But everyone that told me when did how did I feel my freedom? Man, it took two brain attacks, a heart attack, thrombosis, and the cancer to come back, and me having to step back because, in a way, you know, things were gonna unfold. They were how they were gonna unfold. For me to actually take the freedom. And I'll be honest with everyone, I buckle. You know, for every man that comes on and says, I went through this, and that, to say you never buckle, man, tell a Pancho Pantera story, right? Because I've been in this situation, single cell, going through cancer, and I buckled in, you know, but it was because of the pain. But that don't matter. What matters is that from that moment on, it's like, a whole new feeling towards life. I'm still not a grateful person, believe me. I struggle with that every day and I ask for guidance because I know I got a lot of defects, like always wanting to be by myself, you know, people that love me, that want to be around me. I don't accept it and I know I'm wrong for it, you know, but it's a learning process. I try every day. But yeah, everyone, that's how I realized the first time I realized or I took in freedom. I had already been out for what, close to 5 years before I did. And I was just stuck in my ways and what we were doing. Again, my heart was fully into what we were doing. But no buts or ifs this time. The reason I'm telling this story, because I know this is going up Sunday. So with this, Rose and many that have asked me to tell this, all the ladies, all the women that come on, that are with me in the family in the channel, and that just come on and maybe dislike me for some reason. If you're hearing this and you're a mother, I just want to come on and wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. Enjoy the moments. Me personally, I could never comprehend the love of a mother. I know she's the only one that stuck with me through thin and thick, excuse me. So to every lady that's on the channel, allow me to say felicidades, happy Mother's Day. Hope you're surrounded by family, by gifts, by love, and for those that you're gonna go out your way for your mother today to show love. That's exactly what I speak on. Create those moments, treasure them, take it. I'm not trying to preach. I guess it's an in look. That's why I'm here. Take it from an idiot that wasted his whole life and that he's literally knocking on the door on his way out, solo in a corner. But hey, again, I'm not complaining. Thank you, God. If that's my cross to carry, I would always do so. But value the moments. Stay true to yourself, loyal to loved ones. Happy Mother's Day again, everyone.
This is what we start. We always